Hello, this is Miss Wilson again. I have some things this Friday morning for you. This week, we missed last week. There was a flex week with the CSA. But I got some really great things in this week. I posted a picture of things before I started working with them because they took a lot of work. And one thing I got was lima beans. Now, I read up on the lima beans and boy, are these things good for you. I never really liked them before. Called lima beans or butter beans. You see, I got them fresh. Most time, you can get them dry. Make sure with your beans are dry. You check and see. Lima beans is one that you should soak first. Also, don't eat them raw. But the information that I got about them, really, they're fantastic. Very high in fiber. They also have something in them that I couldn't pronounce, and I'm not going to make it sound like I can pronounce, that began with an M. And this ingredient helps with, how there's sulfates. Sometimes they put sulfates on, there was a big issue years ago about sulfates on the different foods, on the salad bars and things. Well, this M sounding word, begins with an M, word, helps your system set up so that it could break those sulfates down, and it's very high in it. So you Google it, you'll find it, I'm quite sure. Also, the fiber in beans, all kinds of beans and legumes, especially these lima beans, are really good if you're diabetic, because the fiber helps bind to the loose bile in your system, also to remove cholesterol. I was just reading and reading. It's like, I need to go ahead and shuck these things because they are so good for you. I don't know. And I never really liked them before. So I'm going to do something with them. Also, I got some sweet potatoes. Some of them I got these little guys. They're white. They are sweet potatoes. I got some of the yellow ones that we're quite used to. And they were so little that I'm like, what am I going to do with these things? But as I was reading for my lima bean recipe, I had some really great ideas. So let me move our things down here so you can see. First, okay, if you do end up with lima beans that are fresh, you're going to need to have to shell them. So just like other beans that we've had in the past, they do have a string in them. And what I did is manage to get through that string and open them up and look at those nice big guys in there. Just pull these guys out. I saved just 2 or 3 of them so that we could see how they look. It's really very easy to do. It's time consuming. Definitely something you watch TV through, or whatever your distraction is. I didn't have a lot. Well, I had a bowl full. The bowl that I'm going to use to make our entree with is the same bowl full that I had of them, and I just saved these few so I could show you how to do that. Remember, these lima beans are one of those beans also that if you pair them with rice, you have a complete protein. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be very proteiny. This is an entree. I made a little changes to something I've served a couple times in the past. To some vegetarian, my nephew's vegetarian, and I remember I had him by, and I'd done some smothered pork chops, but this entree we're going to make is one that I made for him, and he was very happy. He was not missing the pork chop at all. Now all you do is, okay, now these guys, remember we talked before about with our beans, when you cook them, don't salt the water, because that'll make the beans tough. So these guys were fresh. I just boiled them in plain water. I was thinking about throwing an onion in them or something to give them a little more flavor, and that would vary on depending on what you decided to do with them. I did some Peruvian beans the other day, and once again didn't salt, but I threw some onion and garlic and things in the water. So these guys, here they are, about half hour, 45 minutes later, and I cooked them all off. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful, and they are like butter. They're just soft like butter, and they're absolutely delicious. I don't know what my mom was doing with them before, but this came out really nice. So we're going to use those. Also, the sweet potatoes I got, I just peeled them off, and I roasted them. I also had a delicata squash, which is a picture of it, of me dolling my fingers, and I peeled that. I didn't peel the delicata. I cut it in half and seeded it, and I roasted it off. Now, this is something I found. It's called a 3-continent blend, and it has red and gold quinoa, amaranth, brown rice, and wild rice. So this is, I mean, this is beyond a good protein. It's a very good source of protein, cooked in like 15 minutes. I just happen to have this on the shelf. You know, I told you before, I go to what I call the dollar store, and sometimes they have interesting things. This is what's in there. Is that really a nice blend? Cooked off in 15 minutes. And it's always good to try something new. This is 5 grams of protein for a 1/4 cup dry. So but even so, you add them with your beans, your butter beans, and you definitely have a complete protein. Okay, so we got that. And what I did is I cooked that off last night. Not even thinking about you guys, sorry. But I cooked it off. I was making a salad, and I took some, that's why I have these guys here. These are turmeric roots. Really did peel with my peeler and whatnot, chopped it up, and I put it in here. That's what gave us the color here. And turmeric is really good for inflammation. And I put some dry cranberries in here, because like I said, I had something else in mind. But I'm going to put together our entree here in my bowl. So, I'm going to put our grain in here. Like I said, I've done this before, but I served it hot. So here's our beans. I'm not going to use them all because I have something else I want in here to do with the beans too. And what I did with my sweet potatoes and my delicata, sorry, is I roasted them off. And I'm sure, you know, if you're American, we eat baked sweet potatoes all the time. Here's the little white ones. And they're a little bit sweeter. But I did the same thing. I just baked them off, put a little salt on it, a little olive oil. I didn't salt them. Just a little olive oil, and I roasted it all off. Roasted it all off. Yeah, that looks great together there. This is a complete meal here. You've got, this is definitely a nice proteiny meal. Nice and hot. Nice entree. Serve it just like that. And a little lemon juice here. Some olive oil. And a little Himalayan salt. When you have the salts that are pink or black or whatever, they're very good for you because they're very high in mineral. But if you cook with them, you'll notice that you don't have that salty taste because it's more of a finishing salt. Now, like I said, I would serve this as a nice fall entree. Complete protein. Your vegetarians are going to be vegetarians, vegans, really happy with something like this. And you may not end up finding that blend that I got, that the quinoa, the amaranth, or whatever, but just with quinoa. Or just if you have a brown or red rice. I love red rice, and we were supposed to do that a couple weeks ago, sorry. I would just serve this as an entree. I'm going to have a little myself today, and I also got in some arugula. The flavors of the things that she gave me this week are really pronounced. I use arugula in my smoothies a lot of times, but I'm going to use some of this. Just going to tear it up a little bit, and this is going to be my salad for today. This is my late lunch. We're going to have some fish tonight for dinner. But there we go, guys. This looks so good. So all it is here, there's my lima beans, butter beans, my roasted vegetables, roasted sweet potatoes, roasted Delgado squash, sweet potatoes, Delgado squash, some cranberry in there for color. There we go. Doesn't that look great, guys? There we go. All right, there's my lunch. I hope you're going to eat as well as I am. All right, hope to see you again soon. Next Friday, we'll see what's in the basket. Have a good day. Bye.